Have you ever wondered what lies beneath your feet when you walk across the busy, noisy market square? Beneath the clatter of traders calling out prices, the heavy scent of roasted maize, the sizzling sound of plantains frying in oil, and the laughter of children weaving through stalls. What if I told you that far beneath the very stones of the marketplace, an entire city breathes in silence? A city no one has seen for hundreds of years. A city that watches you, even as you shop for yams and beads. And if you listen closely, on certain nights when the moon hides her face, you can hear faint drums from under the ground. This is not a tale for the faint of heart. This is the story of how one young woman, driven by curiosity and faith, stumbled into the city and discovered secrets older than the village itself. Secrets that could either bless her people or destroy them all. The market square of Ikeneojo was the beating heart of the entire region. Every 5 days, traders came from villages beyond the river, from the grasslands, from the red earth hills. Cloth from the north, goat beads from the forest kingdoms, dried fish from the Great Lake, spices from far-off coast. Women in bright arrow and geli bargained with the smooth precision of seasoned warriors. Men with cowrie-studded belts carried baskets on their heads. Drummers sat beneath the ancient baobab at the square's center, filling the air with rhythms older than memory. At the center of this chaos was Adunola, a young woman of 19 seasons, with eyes as sharp as the moon's silver edge and hair coiled like the river's currents. She sold carved wooden spoons made by her father, who had once been the best carver in all of Ikeneojo, until his hands grew stiff from an illness. Since then, Adunola had taken up the work, her knife singing against the wood. But she had another gift, one she told no one about. Sometimes, when she touched certain places in the market square, she could feel the vibration. A faint hum. As if something beneath the earth stirred when her fingers brushed the stones. Her grandmother had always warned her. There are places in this world where the living and the not living walk side by side. Keep your eyes open, Adunola, but do not let your feet wander where they should not. But Adunola's curiosity was a restless bird. And on the market day that would change her life, it would fly straight into danger. It began with an old man. He was unlike any she had ever seen, tall and thin as a staff, his skin pale like weathered ivory, and his eyes a strange, liquid gold. He walked without the sound of feet touching the ground, yet he carried a small wooden drum under his arm. No one else seemed to notice him. No traders called out to him. No children darted in front of him. He stopped right in front of Adunola's stall. "You sell spoons," he said in a voice that was deep and smooth, like water in a dark well. "But do you also sell answers?" Adunola frowned. "Answers? What kind of answers?" He leaned closer, and she caught the faint smell of something, smoke mixed with rain. "The kind you've been searching for. The reason the ground hums beneath your feet." Her hands froze around the spoon she was polishing. No one knew about the hum. No one. "Who are you?" she asked. But the man did not answer. He tapped his drum 3 times, soft, almost like a heartbeat, and then turned and walked toward the old baobab at the market center. And before she could follow, he was gone. That night, long after the traders had packed up and the last lanterns were dim, Adunola could not sleep. She kept hearing that triple beat of the drum in her mind. And then, just as the moon slipped behind a thick veil of clouds, she heard it again, faint, distant, but coming from beneath the ground. Her bare feet found the cold stones of the market square. The air was heavy with the scent of rain about to fall. She stood before the baobab, its great trunk like the body of an ancient giant. She pressed her palm to the earth. The hum was stronger now. And then, she felt it, the slightest shift, as if a stone deep below had moved. Suddenly, the ground beneath her gave way. She gasped as she slid down a narrow tunnel, soil and dust rushing past her. Her hands scraped against roots that seemed to twist away from her grip. The tunnel grew darker, colder, until she landed with a soft thud on a stone floor. She looked up, and her breath caught. She was standing in a vast underground hall, lit not by fire, but by glowing stones embedded in the walls. They paused gently, like breathing. The air smelled of old rain and carved wood. And there, at the far end of the hall, was the golden-eyed man, his drum under his arm. "Welcome, Adunola," he said, his voice echoing through the chamber. "You have entered the city beneath." Adunola's eyes darted around the vast underground hall. The walls were not made of rough earth as she had expected, but of smooth, ancient stone carved with patterns she didn't recognize, spirals, waves, and strange bird-like symbols. In the center of the chamber, water trickled from a small fountain into a black pool, the ripples dancing in the light of the glowing stones. "How do you know my name?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The golden-eyed man began to walk toward her, his footsteps soundless. "The city knows all who walk above it. It has watched you since the day you first cried as a newborn. Your life has been touched." "Touched by what?" He stopped only a few feet away from her. "By the same thing that built this city, and the same thing that destroyed it." Adunola's heart thudded in her chest. "Destroyed it? But it's still here." "It is only a shadow of what it was," he interrupted. "A hidden heart still beating after the body has fallen. And tonight, you stand within it because it has chosen you." She shook her head. "Chosen me for what? I'm just a carver's daughter." A faint smile touched his lips. "So was the last guardian." The word hung in the air, guardian. She didn't understand it, but she felt its weight in her bones. The man turned and began to walk down a narrow passageway leading out of the chamber. His voice floated back to her. "If you wish to know the truth, you must follow. But know this, once you take 3 steps beyond this hall, you cannot turn back. The city will mark you, and the path will open, or close forever." Adunola hesitated. Her grandmother's warning rang in her ears, "Do not let your feet wander where they should not." Yet, something deep inside, something older than her fear, pulled her forward. 1 step. 2 steps. 3. The moment her third footstep echoed, the passageway ahead seemed to expand. The walls grew taller, the light from the glowing stones shifting into a soft gold. She heard the faint sound of drums, not the heartbeat rhythm from before, but a rolling, layered beat, like the calling of many voices at once. The corridor opened into a massive cavern, and Adunola gasped. Before her lay an entire city beneath the earth. Streets paved with black stone wound between towering structures carved directly into the cavern walls. The buildings shimmered with patterns that seemed to shift when she looked at them too long, patterns of rivers flowing into the sea, of stars moving across the night sky. Bridges of polished wood stretched across deep chasms where water glowed from below. But what truly stole her breath were the people. They moved slowly, their robes flowing like water, their skin shimmering faintly in the dim light, as if dusted with crushed pearls. Some carried baskets of fruits she had never seen, golden mango-like shapes, berries that glowed faintly blue. Others played instruments made of bone and shell, the music winding through the streets like a living thing. And yet, none of them looked directly at her. It was as if she was invisible. "They cannot see you," the golden-eyed man said beside her. "Not yet." Adunola tore her eyes from the glowing marketplace below. "Why not?" Adunola tore her eyes from the glowing marketplace below. "Why not?" "Because you do not yet belong to the city." He gestured to a tall spire at the far end of the underground city. "First, you must pass the 3 gates. Only then will the city accept you." 3 gates. What happens if I don't? He met her gaze, his golden eyes glowing faintly. "Then the city will forget you. And those who are forgotten are never seen again." A shiver ran through her. But before she could ask more, the sound of a horn split the air, a deep, mournful call that seemed to shake the very stones beneath her feet. The golden-eyed man's expression darkened. "It begins sooner than I thought." Far below, the people of the hidden city were moving quickly now, vanishing into doorways and alleys. A strange shadow was spreading across the far side of the cavern, swallowing the light as it came. "What is that?" Adunola whispered. The man's voice was low. "The first test." He stepped forward, and without thinking, Adunola followed him down a winding stone path that led deeper into the glowing streets. The air was cooler here, the light dimmer. From the corner of her eye, she caught glimpses of things moving in the shadows, things with too many limbs, shapes that melted away when she tried to look directly at them. The golden-eyed man stopped before a massive archway carved into the wall. Strange animal figures, half bird, half human, were etched into the stone. "This," he said, "is the gate of whispers. If you listen, it will tell you the truth. But it will also tell you lies. You must step through and take only what you need, or be lost forever." The carved figures on the arch seemed to shift as she stared, their stone beaks opening as if about to speak. A faint wind brushed past her ear, and in it, a voice whispered her name. "Adunola." She froze. It was her mother's voice. But her mother had been gone for 10 years. The golden-eyed man did not move. "The gate is speaking to you. Decide quickly. The shadow draws near." Adunola's hands trembled as the whispers grew louder, dozens of voices now, some warm and familiar, others cold and sharp. She took a deep breath, her grandmother's words echoing in her mind. And then, she stepped through.